Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Gita, chapter number 2, text number 23. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, nachainam kledayantapi, nasochayati marutaha. The soul can never cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Purport. All kinds of weapons, swords, flame weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc. So, in addition to the modern weapons of fire, even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons. But formerly there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Fire weapons were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science. Nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. The Mayavadi philosophers cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by the illusory energy. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls in the original supreme soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the supreme soul. Because they are atomic individual souls, eternally, they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy. Let me read this paragraph. The Mayavadi philosophers cannot explain how the individual souls came into existence, simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by the illusory energy. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original supreme soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the supreme soul. Because they are atomic individual souls eternally, Sanatana, they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy. And thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of the fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. In the Varaha Purana, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. They are eternally so, according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separated identity. As is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथमेयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतिताभ्यो श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. कम करोति वाचालं पुंगं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणम् Hare Krishna. The soul is part and parcel of the Lord. That means the soul actually came through the energy of the Lord, through his desire. We all manifested. Because Lord wanted to reciprocate with his devotees, due to which he created various living entities under different brackets. As part of that, we are also created under the Jiva bracket. Even though we are eternal, we have a tendency to take shelter of the material nature, which is a clear fact in what we are today. When we have a tendency to take the material nature's association, we do have. Don't we want to stay independent of the Lord? We do have. Currently, we have to be told, we have to be said that no, you are part and parcel of the Lord. You cannot enjoy independent of the Lord. Actually, we feel kind of dejected also when we hear that we cannot enjoy, or when we hear that we have to be free from sense gratification, or when we hear that the jiva cannot be happy independently. It feels like we are restricted. And through that restriction, what generally also happens is the sadhaka doesn't like to hear these kind of words. Because since childhood, we, we all tried or enjoyed in this world to be happy independently. Didn't we? We see children also. Children, they tend to enjoy in this world without any supervision. They don't like to be supervised. We were like that. As an adult, as a grown up adult, we have our privacy. Nobody would like to come and see what we are seeing in our cell phone. We have our own privacy shield. We have our own rooms where we can do whatever, whatever is close to our heart. Know that whatever is close to our heart can be Krishna conscious or cannot be Krishna conscious. Because as I said, the Lord created us through a desire to establish a relationship with every one of us. Lord is Atmaram, He can be self-satisfied. But He created us so that that's whatever the happiness which He is pursuing through that self-satisfaction can be distributed to everyone. Lord is so merciful. He sends His representatives. And their representatives are also merciful. Why? Because they are giving up that happiness which they have in the spiritual world. And they're coming into this material world to teach the science of Krishna consciousness to each and every one of us. Is that not mercy? It is mercy. Because the jiva who is left out in this material world, we are all kind of gone case in this world. That means We tend to stay in this world independently. We tend to gain happiness independently. We tend to aware ourselves independently. So the moment a person comes and tells, when the Acharya, when they come and tell us that, no, no, you are not independent, you are dependent. No, even in the dependency, there are different schools of taking this science of spirituality. One person wants to take the spirituality through meditation. One person wants to take the spirituality through a karmakandic activity. Another person wants to take the spirituality through jnana. One person wants to take the spirituality through dhyana. Hardly anyone will come to this state and would like to take this process through bhakti. But if you actually see in bhakti, all of these things are there. But everyone is satisfied. As I said, right? Everyone wants to be independent. Nobody wants to be dependent here. Through that independence, whatever little some trupti, little satisfaction is received by that particular person through this following of spirituality, is it will give some happiness. For example, if a person is following karmakandic activities, he knows if he does this, he'll get this. So the moment he is doing this, and then the moment he gets that, he's satisfied with that. For example, there's a traffic police who's in the street, standing. When the traffic police person, the cops would see a person who's actually driving over speed, they would immediately stop them and give them the fine. The moment he does that, he's okay, he's understanding, he's doing his duty, he's satisfied by that thing. Because every person in this world is happy through different ways and means. Boom. 1 second. So those kind of things are actually solace for so many personalities in this world. Or one person is satisfied just by seeing, just by understanding that the Lord is an energy. He's satisfied with that because that is fulfilling his meditation. His meditation, meditating on that light, he will concentrate on that light. So the moment he sees that light and externally he's letting loose his senses, his mind, his intelligence, everything. He's trying to keep it in a wide state. And he's just focusing on the light and that the energy. Light, what is that? That light represents the energy. That is God for him. The moment he sees that, he's convinced. And for that, he will do so much tapasya. He will not do sense gratification. He'll eat very little. He'll sleep very little. Hmm. He will not develop any external relationships in this world. He wants to cut out all the relationships in this world because he wants to see that. Now, the moment he sees that, he's satisfied. And at the time of the death, he'll try to remove that. He'll try to remember that energy and want to aspire to go to that place. Krishna will send him that. That is what he wants to be satisfied. That means that the jiva, based on his desires, based on his aspirations, wherever he wants to satisfy, wherever he wants to get that satisfaction, he'll be given that. For example, a person following the chain of karma kanda, he will do some mechanic activities, giving some donation here, there, and then having a desire to go to uh, heavenly planets, Swargaloka, to higher planets. Because he knows in Swargaloka he will live a longer life. Because in Swargaloka the tenure is very huge. They'll stay like 10,000 years of that celestial plane, which is if you convert the 10,000 here, it's so much. People don't understand this. But the people who go to US and then they come to India, they understand this on a bit. Because in US, $1, if you bring that to India, it's like 97 or 98. I don't know, 95. It's a big amount of money. That means $10 there is a big amount of money in India. Or $1,000 there is a huge amount of money in India. So there's a change. Likewise, there's a change. This world is relative. You see the change in this world only. The currency is different from one country to another country. If you go to another, not just to India, if a person comes from US and goes to Zimbabwe, but the currency is even low. He goes to Zimbabwe and if he converts $1 to Zimbabwe currency, it's too much. You see the change in this world only. Likewise, there are upper planets, there are lower planets, there are heavenly planets, there are hellish planets. That means there are people who are actually aspiring to go to those places. Now, some wants to go to Pitraloka, some wants to go to the some wants to go to the planets where demons are residing. So everyone has their strategy in this world. Please understand this, dear devotees. The Lord is fulfilling everyone's desire. One person wants to have extramarital relationship. Lord will fulfill his desire also. That means to everyone's desire, he's fulfilling some way or the other. If that desire is not fulfilled in this life, it will be fulfilled in the next life. He'll be given some kind of animalistic bodies so that he can freely roam around and then he can fulfill all of his desires. Why people will get animal bodies? Because it's based on the desires. Why a human being is being degraded to an animalistic consciousness? Because by in human life only he will cultivate that animalistic consciousness. Yesterday, I think few days back, my spiritual master was also telling this father, he is like 55 years old and he has like 28-year-old son and another son is like 22 or 25. And then his wife has to go through some issue, some health issue, uh, due to which she cannot participate with him in no more sexual relationship. Then the person is telling, I want to give you divorce because I want to get married to another woman. So these are the tendencies, which is the tendencies of the animalistic tendency which we see in this world, in this life only. That means this is a very clear sign or an indication that whoever cultivates that animalistic consciousness, they use this human form to actually cultivate that, and then through that cultivation, when they leave this body, it becomes easy for them to get into those bodies because the desires which they have, they don't die. Please understand. The desires of a person is cultivating or carrying, the desires won't die. But the desires will be carried forward from one body to the other body. Oh, as simple as that. Desire is carried. Because the jiva is not looking for the exact body. The jiva is just looking to fulfill his desires. For that, he doesn't need this body. He'll get that kind of a body which will actually satisfy his desires. For example, if a person has too much appetite to do sense gratification, he wants to do a lot of sense gratification. Then for him, he'll be given that kind of a body. where he can actually do that. You remember yesterday we were discussing about two birds sitting on the tree, where one bird is actually performing various things, and the other bird is just watching. Likewise, when we cultivate any kind of desires in this world through any kind of association in this world, the Paramatma is sitting right next to us, is actually watching as a Sakshi, as she, the Paramatma is actually watching this bird's desires. Because the bird is leading the life according to the desires. Because the bird will get up in the morning based on the desire. Bird will do the activities based on the desires. The bird will cultivate new desires. Bird means in the sense jiva, the conditioned soul. Let us use conditioned soul rather than saying bird. They will be confused because the conditioned soul will actually cultivate those desires in this particular life, and then it moves from one state to the other state. If the desire is fulfilled, it is satisfied. If the desire is not fulfilled, it is dejected. Matra sparsasu kaunteya shita ushna sukha dukkha. If one desire is fulfilling, you'll be happy. If the desire is not fulfilling, you'll be dejected. Now, this is a state. That means constantly is changing from one realm to the other realm. Now, the Paramatma and the material nature who's actually driving, who's actually observing all our consciousness, all our changes, it is actually watching. If a person strictly wants to deal with the Lord, with the energy of the Lord, material nature will give him that facility. The material nature will put him into the Brahman realization state. It's not difficult. Brahman realization is not difficult. You just have to follow a few things. You have to put your mind on that energy. You have to completely forget the Lord through his personal form. You will go there. Because that energy is also a representation of the Lord only. Bhakti is also very simple. You have to understand that I'm doing everything for my master. This is what I desire. As I said at the beginning of the session. Actually, this is our natural state. Now a question will come, then why, as Prabhupada is mentioning, why an impersonalist will take the shelter of the energy of the Lord? Because the impersonalist is taking the energy, is taking the shelter of the energy of the Lord because the impersonalist is fed up of all the relationships in this world. Hare, you have eternal relationship. He cannot even imagine that. Now, due to that reason, through his own way, through his own process of seeing the truth, he is perceiving his own thing. Please understand this. Now, a question will come. Why, if the Lord is one, if Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all are his expansions, then what is the problem? Why one person is worshipping Lord Shiva? Why one person is worshipping Lord Ganeshji? Why one person is worshipping Durga Devi? Why is it like this? Why one person is worshipping Indra, Chandra, Varuni? Why there is a change? Because it depends on the desire. As simple as that. Does everyone have one desire? No. You see in your home, how many people you have at your home? Four people you have at home. Let's say. Our father will think one, husband, my Mataji will think one, children, both children, they think different things. Are in home only you have four people, different people thinking different thing, different ways. Or don't you see spirituality in a different plane? Now, how can we expect that spirituality will be in the same plane? How can we expect that everyone will follow Krishna conscious? How can we expect that everyone will come to the state that yes, Jivara Sharpa Krishna Nitya? How can we expect that? Because everyone has their own desires. We cannot expect that. But we try. This is what Krishna is actually watching. When we put an effort, that is what the Lord is watching. Because everyone, the Lord knows, not everyone will come to this process, but one day they have to come. But not everyone will come to the consciousness because of the desire, because of the association. I keep telling to certain devotees to come here, to come daily, to come daily, but they don't come. Why? There's a reason for that. Lack of desire, lack of association, lack of conviction to hear the truth, lack of conviction to establish the truth in this way, lack of conviction to understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, lack of conviction to feel that yes, he is my everything. It's difficult. It's so that they're absorbed in so many realms of this world. Because everyone is kind of absorbed in their own thing in this world. Don't want to put that focus or attention to that particular aspect where we have to put. This is what Krishna is exactly telling. असंशयम समग्राहम यथाज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु मया सक्ता मन पार्थ एयं जुंजुम मद आश्चर्य. You take my आश्चर्य. Asakti, cultivate asakti towards me, put some interest towards me. Maya sakta manam partha. Asamsayam samagraham yadagnasya tachrunu. No, this has to be worked on. If a sadhaka is actually working on this, then it is easy for him to develop a relationship. Then it is easy for him to change his desires. Because this human form of life is meant to change these unwanted desires. This human form of life is meant for that. It is not meant for sense gratification. It is not meant for ahar nidra bhayamaitunamcha. It is this human form of life is not meant for sex life. This human form of life is meant to perfect this life. Because everyone is doing this. Animals also do this. Who doesn't do this? Everyone will do this. But when we cultivate a desire, like no, I want to stop all of this nonsense in this life. I want to be free from everything. Just like an impersonalist, he wants to cut off everything from this world externally. He wants to cut off. Because where he wants to put the focus, he wants to put the focus on the energy, which he so called as the meditation. No doubt he will get a destination, but that is on a temporary plane again. Because I said Jiva is prone to take the association of this material nature. I mean, no matter he goes there, he again has a tendency to fall down. Because he will not get Purna Ananda. Complete happiness is not perceived. Now, the only sad part here in this world is the sad part in this world is people, the moment they get some happiness, they're fully satisfied in that. Now, why the Jiva is satisfied by momentary happiness? Why sense gratification is so much prevalent in this world? Why going to that place, going to this place, staying there, staying here, getting some happiness there, getting some happiness there? They're just satisfied. Why? Because there's a reason for that. Because Jiva, whatever little he gets, he's satisfied with that. Please understand. The Jiva has been given something. Kuch milega Jiva ko. If the Jiva is given something, the conditioned soul is received something, he's satisfied with that. That is the whole point why all of these principles are working. Why there are so many spiritual schools. This is the reason, dear lovers. Because everyone is being satisfied with their own thing. Why Christianity is very prevalent? Because people are satisfied. You don't have to follow any rules. You'll be satisfied. Your heart will be satisfied. Because Jiva is looking for that little happiness. To cultivate a mango tree, it will take 5-6 years. But if somebody instant is giving a mango, eat. That's it. He'll eat. And then he's satisfied with that. So that we need to understand. 1 second, 1 second. So everyone is satisfied at different states, but we should never be satisfied with all of these cheap things in this world. Krishna is telling, Maya Sakta Manapart. We should all cultivate asakti towards that person who gives Purnananda. We don't have to do big things also. We just have to follow what our acharyas are telling. So when we develop relationship with them, we don't stick on to these small things of this world. We don't stick to these small things of this world. Some problems are coming, we don't stop our Krishna consciousness for those small problems. Some family problem is there. We don't have to stop Krishna consciousness for that. Because these family problems will continue life after life. For example, let's say we are pious in this work, in this life. You'll get another human form of life. To get a human form of life is not a big thing. You'll get another human form of life. If you're little pious, you'll get another human form of life. Let's say you're giving some donation to to old age home. Let's say you're taking care of some children who doesn't have parents. If you just do those things, you'll get another human form of life. Guaranteed. Krishna is guaranteeing. If you just do some punya, some pious activity, you'll get a human form of life. Human form of life is not a big deal. But a big deal is to become Krishna conscious. So these small things which do happen in one's life, we should not stop there. As I said, these problems will come. Family problem will come, financial problem will come, that problem, this problem, so many problems will come. If you want to come to the state of surrender, so many problems will come. We should not stop. We should fix up. We should be fixed up in our process and then move forward. Now, who doesn't have problems? Pandavas didn't have problems. Everyone has problems. But where is their focus? Based on our desires. Because they want only Krishna, they don't want anyone else. Please understand. That doesn't mean that we put everyone we see everyone harshly. No, that is also not right. As per our karmic reaction, whatever problems has to come, they will come. As per our deeds, just like that bird is actually doing so many activities. Through that activities, doesn't it get reactions? No, in the bird life it will not get. Let's say the bird gets a human form of life, and then whatever actions is doing, that doesn't it get reaction? Obviously, it will get reaction. Likewise, through our human form of life, in this life or in the previous life, we might have done some actions. So obviously, for that we get reactions. See, this is what we have to do. We have to just accept that. Now, some people are putting us on. That's good. I deserve that. Some people are elevating us. We understand. I don't deserve that. Whatever good thing is happening, it goes to the spiritual master. Whatever bad thing is for me, so that I depend more on the process, so that I take more shelter on the process, and then move forward. As simple as this. Because, dear devotees, the Atma, which is part and parcel of the Lord, part and parcel, came actually from the Lord only. Doesn't mean that the Atma will go and merge in the Lord. The Atma will have eternal existence continuously. The Atma will not merge into it. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning in this particular sloka. Nainam Chindani Shashrani. Krishna is telling, right? What is he telling? The soul can never be cut into pieces, nor be burnt, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind. That means wind cannot do anything, water cannot do anything, fire cannot do anything, any instrument, any equipment cannot do anything. That means it cannot be cut, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be dissolved, or it cannot be withered. That means we are that, but we are very minute, very small part and parcel. Now, this Atma is there in our heart right now. The Atma is also watching. The Atma is hearing its natural state. The Atma who is there, which is there in our body right now, that Atma is actually hearing. Oh, this you are talking about me. This is me. I've forgotten about this. life after life, millions of lifetimes. The Atma is there within our body right now is very happy. Why? Because it is actually hearing about him. Because it is actually understanding about him. Because it is actually cultivating about him. And that is what we are. Not these bodies. Not these moving dead bodies. We are not these moving dead bodies. We are that powerful spirit soul which is actually moving this body, which is dead. That soul which is permanent, eternal, Satchit Ananda. That Atma cannot be merged into Krishna. Please understand. Now, you might have seen some movies when you're a child that the Bhakta Prahlad soul will come out of the, no, not Bhakta Prahlad, some souls, a Hiranyakashipu soul come out of the body of Hiranyakashipu and then merging into the Lord. No, that merging conception is not our conception. The jiva will come out and then get the natural state, natural identity, and then through that natural identity, it will actually serve the Lord. It is no conception of merging, then coming out again, merging again, coming out again, merging. See here, Krishna is very clearly telling the soul cannot be cut into pieces, cannot be burnt, cannot be merged, cannot be done any of those things. That means this is actually doing what? This is actually cutting out the impersonalistic philosophy, which is actually very clearly telling the soul will merge into the Brahman effulgence. No, even though it is merging into the effulgence, it will still have its identity. It will never lose its identity. Please understand that. Because the soul, if he doesn't receive, if the soul doesn't receive happiness through that Brahman state, the soul will again come to this material world. If he is not satisfied, it has to come here. Let's say the soul is merged, how the soul can come out of that merged state? That is what Prabhupada is questioning. See his beautiful consciousness is questioning the jivas, stating that if the soul is merged in the effulgence, how is the soul again coming into this world? That means the soul is cut again from there and it will come. Then, if the soul can be cut from there and it is coming, then that is contradicting to what Lord Krishna is telling here. Ainam chindante shastrani. That means what is Krishna telling now? Krishna says soul cannot be cut into pieces. If the soul cannot be cut into pieces, then how can it will merge and then how can it will come out? So that is contradicting. It means that is not right. Even though the soul will go to the Brahman effulgence, it will have its own identity. Likewise, if the soul goes to the spiritual world, it will have its own identity. The soul will never lose its identity. Because the soul, that's why we are here, right? We are actually there in the spiritual world. But we want to enjoy in separation of the Lord, which we actually see in our heart right now. There's a desire to enjoy in separation of the Lord. Don't we see the desire to enjoy in separation of the Lord? Yes, it is there. That means it is a clear proof that we want to enjoy in separation of the Lord. That is why we are here in this material world. So now what we need to do, we need to change that consciousness. That means the soul should be dependent more and it should never enjoy its operation. If he gets this, then the perfection in his life begins. Then he'll experience that Krishna consciousness, which is actually dormant in one's consciousness. Then nobody has to tell him, oh, don't do sense gratification, don't do this, don't sleep more, don't do that. He's satisfied because he understands what he's supposed to do because he's leading a simple life. Now, this is a clear indication that the Atma, the soul, when it realizes its natural state, that I'm servant of the Lord and I want to serve him, through that desire, he's been taken to that Vaikuntha plane because he wants to serve the Lord. If he wants to serve the Lord through reverence, through friendship, huh, through Sakya, through Vatsalya, then he'll be taken to the Goloka plane. If he has a relationship with Krishna, he'll be taken to Goloka plane. If he has a relationship with Lord Ramachandra, he'll be taken to the Lord Ramachandra's abode, where he will serve Lord Ramachandra through his natural state, through his natural identity. Whatever he has developed with him, just like Hanumanji, if he has developed some kind of friendship, that friendship is with respect. That friendship is with through with servitude. That friendship is not like intimate friendship, just like we see in the Goloka. That friendship is with awe and reverence. Through that friendship, they will go to that shed and then they will serve Lord Ramachandra. If he develops intense relationship with Krishna and his devotees, then he'll go to Krishna's abode, which is Goloka. I remember few last week, it was very interesting. Svirtana Show was telling more clarity on this because the devotee was asking, does everyone who comes to the association who are here, they all go to Goloka? Then he said no. Why? Because not everyone will develop that kind of relationship with Krishna. Some will develop some kind of relationship, some will develop a partial relationship, some will develop a passive relationship, some will develop an active relationship, some will develop a relationship through Shanta, different states. But all these relationships, they do manifest when a sadhaka comes to the plane of surrender. Without surrender, none of these relationships will be manifested into our consciousness. Because without surrender, our bhakti is not in that state of purity. Because we should do that pure bhakti, pure devotion, unalloyed, anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma vanavritam. Whereas in this sloka, Prabhupada is actually cutting out the impersonalism, which is actually there dormant in our heart. Impersonalism means not the persons who are there outside the moment. Impersonalism is there in our consciousness. It has to be curbed out. Anything independent of the Lord is impersonalism. You're offering it to the Lord, but you're not actually offering it to the Lord to satisfy the Lord, but you're just offering it to the Lord to avoid the karmic reaction. That is independent. That is impersonalism only. Please understand practically what is impersonalism. A lot of people will say impersonalism means only to the followers of Shankaracharya they are impression. No, 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 no. Here also there is impersonalism. Let's say you're offering the bhoga. I'm telling it again. Let's say a person is offering the bhoga, but the intention is not to satisfy the Lord through that bhoga offering, but the intention is just to get free from karmic reaction. That means whatever मन में क्या सोचता है वो करता है वो. Whatever comes in the mind, whatever comes in the consciousness, he'll just do that. So let us eat pizza today. Let us eat this. Let us eat that. Let us eat this. Let me go prepare it. Let me just put in front of the Lord for 5 minutes. That's it. Karmic reaction is done. I can happily eat it. There's no problem in it. This is impersonalism. Because you're not thinking actually, will this person be okay? Will he be happy for this offering? Is he relishing? How is the salt? How is the spice? Is he up to the mark? Did he enjoy it? These things will not come. Because the personal giving importance to the person is not there. But when the sadhaka really does it for the pleasure of that person, it's a small thing, dear devotees. The small change in the consciousness. If this change is being taken care, then personalism can be established very nicely into our consciousness. But not seeing this, oh, karmic reactions will come. That's why I should offer it to the Krishnas. We should not see through the knowledge plane. Yes, knowledge is required, but when we come to the person, that knowledge should be helpful to develop a relationship with that person, but knowledge is not important or prominent to the person than the person. Please understand that. Because in the spiritual world, you don't find any jnanis sitting and meditating on the form of the Lord or on the energy of the Lord. You see devotees just serving the Lord very nicely because they're giving importance to the person. So why are we chanting Hare Krishna? Why are we hearing? Because we want to please that person. We want to discuss about him. We want to remember about him. We want to remember his words. We want to remember his wonderful discussion with Arjuna. Because these are all wonderful discussion with Arjuna. These are all wonderful purports given by Srila Prabhupada. They're discussing those things. We're trying to share some wonderful reflections. We're trying to say what is personalism, what is impersonalism, what kind of desires one we need to cultivate, how the soul is always independent, how the soul is always Satchitanand, how the soul is only part and parcel. The soul cannot be merged. Soul always have an existence. In the spiritual world, it has existence. In the material world, it has existence. Doesn't mean that the soul when it comes from spiritual world to material plane, it becomes polluted. No, no, no. The consciousness is changed. That the soul is always soul. The soul never gets deteriorated. The soul is trying to enjoy or trying to find ways and means to enjoy in separation of the Lord. Because in the consciousness only these things will come. Oh, I need to do this. I need to enjoy like this. I need to behave like this. I need to act like this. This is my enjoyment. This is my state. This is my confinement. This is my laptop or this is my thing. I should do whatever I get a desire to do. That's his state. That's his state of seeing these things. But this doesn't mean that all of these things are giving him happiness. That's just like Prabhupada is mentioning here, right? At the end, he's telling, let me read this. Very interesting. In the Varapurana, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. Very clearly telling. They are eternally so, according to Bhagavad Gita also. So even after being liberated from illusion, because due to that illusion only we are here actually. The living entity remains a separate identity. That means the jiva is always separate, just we discussed. As is evident from the teachings of Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. This is very, very important. Arjuna developed relationship with Krishna. Through that relationship, Arjuna is serving Krishna. But Arjuna is not merging with Krishna. See, how can a person think about that actually? If I have a relationship with that person is a very loving person. How can I go and merge with that person? That means I will lose all my intimate exchanges, rasas, give and take, dadati, pratignati, guyamakyati, prachati. If I go and merge in that person, I will lose all of these things. Just like Mother Yashoda, she's serving continuously Supreme Personality of Godhead. And she's actually thinking, is this pleasing Krishna? Is this not pleasing Krishna? Is he satisfied? Is he not satisfied? Is he okay? Is he not okay? I gave him lunchbox. Is he okay? Did he eat everything? She's continuously thinking about him only. And he will come by evening. Now, what kind of preparation I should make for him? Will he eat this? Will he not eat that? Yesterday he ate that. Should I prepare the same preparation today? Because I don't know. Yesterday he ate that. Today he might not eat. Let me prepare something else. Yesterday he was drinking that cow's milk. Today will he drink this cow's milk? Because she's continuously thinking about that and then discussing with her co-gopis. This is what their meditation is. They wanted to please Krishna. And who is this Krishna? Their son. It's not like Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Bhoktaram Yekadapasa Sarvalokamayeshwar. No. Krishna is their beloved. Krishna is their son. And Krishna is their son only. Really, Krishna is not Supreme Personality of Godhead there. Please understand it about it. In Goloka, Krishna is not Supreme Personality of Godhead. No. He's Krishna only. He's a small boy. And that Krishna is also fearful out of his mother. No, who is that Krishna? The supreme proprietor, source of everyone. That person is actually fearful with Mother Yashoda. Through this state, if the soul is merging with Krishna, can they avail all these rasas? Akila rasatma, all these loving exchanges. They miss out on all these loving exchanges. As I begin this conversation today, right? What was that conversation? It's very interesting. Everyone is satisfied with whatever they have. We should not. Hare Krishna. Come. No, we should not be satisfied. We should be satisfied with only what. what our acharyas are telling. Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to add anything? Would like to add any questions? Share. Yes, Sheetal Mataji, please tell.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for today's Gyana. I have a question on the merge thing, as you mentioned, because
Yeah.
in my consciousness, I was thinking the same thing I did hear from the different acharyas and all. I was having the same conception as you mentioned that once the soul leaves with the spirituality, they will merge into the supreme authority. I was having that conception, but it's like totally new for me today. A new conception you have mentioned that even if the soul lives in the spiritual with the spiritual consciousness, even that identity, there is a separate identity. I Can you please elaborate more on it? I just want to have more explanation on this, please.
Yes, yes, yes. So we'll discuss this more tomorrow. I'll just give a synopsis. The Jiva is always Jiva. The Jiva will never lose its identity. Through merging process is actually losing the identity. But that never happens because through one's illusory state, because if the Jiva loses the identity, how the Jiva will have reciprocations? Supreme Lord. That is not possible. But we see by the words of the Acharyas, every living entity who go back to the spiritual world, they all have intimate relationships with the Lord and with his devotees. They have intimate relationship with the Lord and his devotees. So those things are there. One second. Sankirtana, kuchu. Sankirtana. So those things are intimate. The Jiva having a relationship with the Lord is intimate. Just like your relationship with your son is intimate. The relationship with your son is intimate to you. Just I don't know whether your son or not, but I'm giving an example. Now your relationship with your son is unique to my relationship with my daughter. My relationship with my daughter is unique to me. Your relation with your son is unique to you. Likewise, our relationship with the Lord is unique to us. Likewise, another person's relationship with the Lord is unique to him. That's why Lord wants. That is the whole point why everyone's consciousness is different. Not everyone's consciousness is same. Everyone's perceiving this world is not same. That is how we began the conversation today. Everyone's thought process is not same. Everyone's awareness is not same. So, due to our understanding, we tend to see spirituality in one lens. That's what Srila Prabhupada actually tells. You try to merge in the energy of the Lord, but even energy of the Lord is limited because there is no relationship, there is no give and take. But through the Prabhupada, yes. But through the person form, Chaitanya, through the person form, you have intimacy. That is given through bhakti. Because through bhakti, what you'll develop that relation. It is not available anywhere else. And what Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada followers are giving us is very, very rare gift. They're giving us that relationship. For that relationship, yesterday I said the primary requirement for that is to submit oneself, to come to the plane of Sama. So this connection when which we have with the Lord is always eternal. When we go into the spiritual world, stay there forever, we will not come back again into this material world. And the sadhana the services, the pleasing of the acharyas, the pleasing of the spiritual masters. It's for that relationship, that eternal relationship with them. Shh. Hare Krishna. I have children here. I cannot tell more. Is that okay, Amma?
Yeah. I understand, Prabhuji. So once, if we are practicing the spiritual thing, and if we develop that, if we come to that state, so once we leave the body, we are still separated from the Supreme God. You mean to say we have our different identity?
Separated in the sense we will be there with them, but we have our individuality. What I'm saying is we will not lose our individual. The individuality will remain.
It will remain, but we don't have the body, so we don't have desire.
We get
And
a
how?
spiritual body if one goes to the spiritual world. If one stays in the material world, we'll get another body based on our desires. Let's say I have a desire. Let's say I have a desire to do something. So to fulfill that desire, I'll get another material body in this material world. Once that desire is fulfilled, if I have more desires, then I'll get another body. If I have more desire, I'll get another body. This is a continuous cycle, Krishna. This is a continuous cycle. Wow. This is a continuous cycle. But if one's desires are all spiritual, we will never be free from desires. We will have spiritual desires. If one's spiritual desires are pure, doesn't have any material desire, then he'll go to the spiritual world. Because this is not the place for him. And when he goes to the spiritual world, he'll get spiritual body. Just like we have a material body here, you get a spiritual body. The soul will there, the same soul will there, but you'll have spiritual body. And that spiritual body is eternal. Unless and until we ourselves poking needle in our eye, and then don't want Krishna, then again we'll be sent here. Right now we are in the spiritual world only, actually, but we don't realize that. In one way, we're in the spiritual world only. But the moment there's a lack of realization. Once we realize that, then everything will be.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Sorry about that. My daughter came in between. Please excuse me. Anyone else would like to add anything? Otherwise, we'll stop it here.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna
there's
Prabhu.
a question here.
Yeah.
1 second, there's a question here. Rachna Mataji, thank you, Hare Krishna. Hare, how bhakti helps us to forget our identity. Do we realize we are servant of the Lord and our soul desires to serve Him, not other desire exist? No, bhakti is not helping us to forget our identity. Actually, bhakti is helping us to remember our identity. Bhakti is not forgetting. Bhakti is not helping us to forget. It is we who are helping ourselves to forget our identity. Because we as a jiva, through our forgetfulness, we don't want to remember the Lord. We don't want to take his association. We don't want to accept him. It is that we. It is not a bhakti. When we take pure association continuously, that association will actually uplift our consciousness. I've seen myself as an example. When I continuously started taking association of my spiritual master, I don't get a desire to enjoy in separation of the Lord. I don't get a desire to enjoy in separation of the spiritual. Hare Krishna. Sorry about that. I had to. So, Amma, Rachna Mataji,
हरे कृष्ण
we'll
प्रभु जी है प्रभु जी
we'll discuss more about this. So, tomorrow we'll discuss more because it is important. How Bhakti is actually helping us. It's not pulling us away. Bhakti is helping us to understand the process. It's not pulling us because through Bhakti, what happens is we get genuine desires to practice Krishna consciousness, to follow the principles, to follow the words of the acharyas, to lead our life in their footsteps. Those things will come naturally. Bhakti is not diminishing our desire because the process of Shravanam is what is to cultivate those desires. Because through those desires only, one can really see the presence of the Lord everywhere. When a sadhaka is seeing the presence of the Lord everywhere, then there's no problem. But that we need to understand more. That's why if you actually see the Lord is actually watching as a Sakshi. He's actually watching. He's not doing anything. He's just watching. He's not active. He's active always, but for us, he's dormant. The moment this soul is turning towards that process that where Prabhupada is mentioning here, right? The moment the soul turns towards the Lord, then he becomes more active. That means his presence can be perceived more. That's happening through bhakti only. So if something is pulling us right now, it is not a bhakti. It is something else. Might be a weed of bhakti. It looks like bhakti, but it's not bhakti. I will discuss more on that. Correct. Is that okay, Amma?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु यस प्रभु जी
Correct. Yes, Amma, you're saying some Sushil Tom.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance. All the to Srila Prabhu. Prabhu, thank you so very much for the beautiful class, Prabhu. Start of the class, you started with mentioning about Krishna. We came out from Krishna, the part and parcel, and he wanted to have us in the Jiva Tattva, which is both taking association of both internal energy and external energy according to the free will. Right, Prabhu? Did I hear
Yes, the Jiva has a
correctly?
free will. Yes, yes.
So originally when we came out from Krishna in Jiva Tattva, and then due to forgetfulness or we get reminded about ourselves through Shravana and Bhakti. So is it to understand, is it whatever we are going through and then eventually realize Krishna, and then as you're saying we see Krishna in everything, revive our relationship, that is what that itself is like satisfying Krishna for the purpose of him putting into this position. Is that how we should understand, Prabhu?
Krishna will be satisfied when we go back to him. Krishna will be satisfied when we go back to our natural identity. Krishna will be happy when he's with him, when we are with him. That means as a father, he wants his son to be with him. Right now, the son is outside the realm of the father. It's within the realm. This is father realm. This is father's realm only. But father doesn't want his son to be in this realm. It is through our independence we are in this realm. It is through our desires we are in this realm. If we actually see our heart, we understand that. The moment we get some desires to enjoy in separation of the Lord, it's a very clear indication that we are in a different place. Because in the spiritual world, nobody will get a thought that I want to enjoy in separation of the Lord. Because they are fully connected. Their consciousness is pure. But here, in this world only, the jiva will get a desire to enjoy in separation of them. Because we are affected through the illusory energy of the law. It is the external energy. That's why we suffer here in this world. So what pleases Krishna, what brings happiness to Krishna is when we revive to our natural state. That is the whole point why Lord is telling, Maya Asakta Manapahata. That satisfaction to be with that root portion. One cannot be satisfied with anything else in this world. We should be satisfied with only that. But the problem is, as we discussed today, if a person is getting little happiness in between, he'll forget his natural thing. One time a guru told his guru told his disciple to go and get some water. The disciple would go. What is his destination? What is his target? To go and get some water. But while getting his water, he sees a beautiful lady. And that the lady is talking to him. He gets connected to her. He gets dinged with her. Then they get married, they have children. He forgets everything. After so many years, again there's a problem with water comes. Then through that problem, he remembers his spiritual master. Oh, my spiritual master told me to bring some water. I got stuck here with I dinged with this girl and then I have children and everything. What should I do? He again goes to the spiritual master. Spiritual master is there. What is it telling us? That our destination is one thing, but in between something else do come. And we get dinged to that. We get connected to that. We get associated to that. And through that association, we forget our what we are supposed to do. Through that, sometimes we feel that even bhakti, this process of bhakti is also difficult. Because we got dinged to something else. Through that digging process, through that association with that something else, we think that this bhakti is also something else. That means this Krishna consciousness is not working for him. Because he never acted on that. He never got connected to that plane. As soon as the sadhaka comes again back to the spiritual master is telling, spiritual master will tell, okay, where is the water? He'll give the water. Then he'll tell, oh, this is all happened. Then he says, oh, that's okay. Just like father is satisfied because the son came back. Likewise, when you go back to Krishna, you'll remember all this phantasmagoria which you have done in this world, but Krishna doesn't care about that. Because Krishna is happy. Because you came back to him. Just like Gopakumara is again Krishna. Krishna is just happy seeing Gopakumara. That's it. But please understand, for coming to that state, how many things we have to go through? We get some happiness through by seeing our salary. We get some happiness because the moment we see that we feel independent. Yes, exactly, we feel independent. Why don't we feel independent? We feel independent. But please understand, when we are kept in all these complacent states, do we ever feel that we are dependent? I always think about this. Do we ever feel that we are dependent? We never feel that we are dependent. Because my thing is going nicely. We kind of see that this is happening without the presence of the Lord. So through all of these things, dear devotees, what is happening is we are slowly turning away from the Lord. Because that's the important conversation which we discussed today. Small things which are given to us, we get settled to that only. We don't see the real picture. Now, to your point, how and why, when Krishna will be happy? Krishna will be happy when we leave this dire condition, when we leave this kind of consciousness and come to the spiritual plane. Krishna will be happy with that. Hare.
So thank you, Prabhuji. So the statement that you have mentioned at the start of the call, Krishna has put into this Jiva Tattva because that also is because of my desire from
Obviously,
in the spiritual world with it. Okay.
obviously, obviously, that is a correct understanding. It is our desire to stay independent of the Lord. That's why we've been kept here. It's not forced. We've been sent here. We are not forced here. No, Krishna is a loving father. He will never force anyone. We've been sent here based on our desire, which we actually see now also, today also, at this moment also. We don't want to hear. That's our desire. We don't want to listen. That's our desire. We don't want to discuss. That's our desire. Or we don't want to chant. That's our desire. Krishna is not at fault. Krishna gave everything. He gave everything to come back to him. It is our desire, which we don't have. For this reason, we need to depend. If a sadhaka understands why he need to depend, that's the greatest realization. But if the sadhaka doesn't understand why he should depend, if his sadhaka is feeling he's independent, then he'll stay in that state only. He will never come to this plane. If he never comes to this plane, he will never understand the intimacy between the Lord and his devotees, which is another deep problem. Courage. So this we need to understand. This practice of spirituality is not just a process; it's a very practical sense. You need to understand through all of this plane, these problems, spiritual master is trying to uplift us from one state to other state. That's why we are grateful to them. There's so many problems. We have problems here, na, sir. Correct. Thank you. I'll stop here. Thank you all very much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Yes,
Prabhuji,
yes, Shama.
on the merging, Annamacharya in the movie, not from the scriptures. In the start, they would show like a sword
Right.
coming from, and then after it is merged, it's actually the sword which is going back. So is it like that sword is like the spiritual body of that soul,
Right.
which is
So they
Annamacharya?
want to
It's,
show some way,
mm,
because otherwise the jiva is very dull-headed, right? Doesn't understand. I wanted to show some form. Yes, I remember you telling that. So yes, it comes through. Yes, it comes through because they need some form, right?
mm.
But technically, what happens is person will get spiritual body. Through that spiritual body, he goes to the spiritual body. Okay, there's another question. Why does the sadhaka wants to be independent even after facing so many problems? Why does the sadhaka feels he or she is a doer? It's a good question. We'll discuss. Good. Please continue asking those kind of questions. It's important because if there are no questions, there's no churning of the heart. We should ask questions. We should think. Thank you, Amarachna. We'll discuss this tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare. Thank you all very much. Shri Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.